Hello, everyone. Welcome to 10 Minutes Astrology, the most easy way to learn astrology. Since 2 weeks ago, we started to learn the aspect and we decide to introduce the aspect one by one. So our audience, our followers can have a more clear idea about what this aspect mean. And each aspect, we will give an example. Last week, we talked about conjunction, and that is most fundamental and most foundation of all aspects. You learn how to put the meaning of two aspects together. So I forget to introduce my usual guest, Alejo.
It's okay. Come on. Hi, everyone.
Yeah, somehow it's just like I'm just keep talking, and I totally forget someone else in the room. No, I couldn't ignore you. Yeah. So Alejo, so how's everything?
Nice. How are you? All good. Nice to
Well,
be
oh
here
good,
again.
oh good. Yeah. So I remember you have an event coming up in the faculty, right? A webinar.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. So in the 4th of March, on the 4th of March,
Yep.
we are doing a webinar on unaspected planets, which means planets that have no aspect at all. How
Yeah.
do they behave in a chart? So if you're interested, just go to the astrology.org.uk. That's the
Yep.
webpage, the Faculty of Astrological Studies. So you can sign up. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, I highly recommend because first, I love the school. I was trained from the faculty too, and also Alejo is also trained from there, and then
You
now he's
love
a
me.
tutor there.
Yes.
Yeah, and I met Alejo there. Yeah, that's the everything begin. Oh, anyway, so also Alejo, if people have a question or they want to ask you for consulting, how they contact you?
So my mail is meet me at Liminal Cosmos, and my
Okay,
Instagram is Liminal Cosmos also.
okay, so they can find you on Instagram, Liminal Cosmos.
Yes,
Cool.
thank you.
So that's beginning with today's main subject. We're talking about
Oppositions.
oppositions.
Yes.
So,
So
so
sorry.
yeah, no. I'll let you start it.
No, I'm sorry. You go on.
No, I will usually will talk quite a lot, but well, so yes, the opposition. I will give a very simple one because the conjunction. Last time you talked about the right opposite. Yes, conjunction is two planets they made each other at the same degree. That by definition, and don't forget we give orb like for the conjunction. We used to give the a degree before, after, or you say up and down. Okay, so any planet when they are 8 degree within 8 degree apart, you can consider it as a conjunction and the two planets work together. And today we talk about opposition. That means two planets in the opposition side. So on the zodiac, there is, if we consider zodiac as a circle, then each side has an opposition side. So Aries opposite Libra, Taurus opposite Scorpio, Gemini and Sagittarius, Cancer and the Capricorn, Leo and Aquarius, and the Pisces and the Virgo. Oh my God. I feel like I'm very professional. No, I'm joking.
You know your
So,
oppositions.
yes. So this is the 180 degree, but that's the size. So when we talk about the opposition in the chart, that exactly they need to be 180 degree. For the detail, I will give to Alejo.
Yes. So the idea is if we have a sign, for instance, Rod was saying Aries is opposing Libra. So if you have a sign at 50, a planet, if you have a planet at 15 degrees of Aries and you
Mm-hmm,
have another planet at 15
mm-hmm,
degrees of Libra, they are in
mm-hmm,
an opposition. So the
mm,
idea is a circle is 360 degrees. So the opposing place of, if you're standing in somewhere in this circle,
mm-hmm,
the opposition to that is a distance of 180 degrees. So if two planets are separated by 180 degrees in the chart, it means they are opposing each other.
mm-hmm,
Now, because we use the orbs, we can go
mm-hmm,
again. I say up and down, you said before or after, 8 degrees before or after the opposition, which means 180 minus 8 is 172 degrees.
mm-hmm,
So the two planets are 172, between 172 or 180 degrees apart. Then you have an opposition. Now, we didn't mention this. I was thinking when you were saying welcome, we didn't mention this, that most of the charts have what we call an aspect grid.
Ah,
So
yes.
most of the charts, when you see the chart, underneath there's a table with all
Mm.
of the planets, and it will tell you, it will show you the symbol. If there's an
Mm-hmm.
aspect between two planets, it will show you a symbol telling you what the aspect is. If it doesn't
Should
show
I?
you anything,
Yeah.
tell
Should I
me.
show it? Should I show it
Yeah, yeah,
if the
show
people
it for
can
the
read?
people
Yeah.
who are looking, yes.
Yeah.
If you're just listening to it, the next time you look at the chart, try to see you're going to see that there's this table underneath the circle of the chart, which has it has like all of the signs, all of the planets, I mean, so they cross each other, so you can check what is the aspect. So for instance, here, if we see last time we were talking about the moon Pluto, so we look at the moon on the top, we go down all the way to Pluto, and we see there's a symbol of a conjunction. So we
Mm-hmm.
know they are in conjunction. They
Mm-hmm.
are doing a conjunction. So basically, if we look, for instance, the moon with the sun, we see there's nothing there. So there's no
Mm-hmm.
aspect between these two planets. Okay, so in this way you can look at this grid and it will tell you what is the aspect. So sometimes it's easier for you maybe to recognize it there at first,
Mm-hmm.
then you
Yep.
will get used to reading it in the circle, but sometimes it's easy.
Yeah.
So the opposition basically, it's when two planets are in opposing signs of the zodiac. And in the chart of Mozart, the sun, for instance, is at 7 degrees of Aquarius, and Neptune is at 9 degrees of Leo. Aquarius and Leo are opposing signs. They are not on the same degree. They're not both on 7 degrees, but we said it's 8-degree orb. So try to think with me. I know maybe we're going too fast, but try to follow me. If the sun is at 7 degrees of Aquarius, the opposing degree is 7 degrees of Leo. But we said there's a difference of 8 degrees. So we can go all the way up from 7 degrees to 14 degrees. 7, 8 plus 7? No,
15.
15 degrees. 15 degrees. Sorry, thinking in numbers in English, it makes me harder. It's harder. So
For
we
me,
can
it's the
go
same.
all the way. Yeah, we can go all the way from 7 degrees of Leo up to 15 degrees because it's an 8-degree orb. So we add 8 degrees to 7 degrees of Leo. Or it could be 8 degrees towards the other side. So 7 degrees of Leo minus 8 degrees could get us all the way to 0 degrees of Leo and 1 degree more. So it would be
Mm-hmm.
29 degrees of Cancer.
Mm.
So I hope this is making sense. Maybe it's easier to use the example with Mercury. Let's do example with Mercury. I
Yeah.
think it's easier.
Yeah.
Mercury is at 8 degrees of Aquarius, 8
Mm-hmm.
degrees of Aquarius. So opposing 8 degrees of Aquarius would be 8 degrees of Leo. 8
Mm-hmm.
degrees of Leo, it's right opposite 8 degrees of Aquarius because Leo and Aquarius are in opposing signs. So it's 8 degrees towards 8 degrees. Now, because we have an orb of 8 degrees also, we can go all the way up from 8 degrees of Aquarius. We add another 8 degrees. So this takes us to 16 degrees of Aquarius. So all the way from 8 degrees of Aquarius to 16 degrees of Aquarius, we could have, if there's a planet there, we would have an opposition. And also we can go down. So from 8 degrees of Aquarius, we go down to 0 degrees of Leo, because 8 minus 8 is 0. So we go to 0 degrees of Leo, which means that from 0 degrees Leo all the way to 16 degrees Leo, if there's anything there, that's going to be considered opposing, in an opposition of Mercury. And what do we have there? Neptune, in the case of Mozart, because Neptune is at 9 degrees of Leo.
Mm. Well, so thanks Alejo for the very clearly, very detailed how to work with this orb, because for the beginner this is a little bit more challenge. So another things I think Ale would be very curious about, what does that mean? Because if they read some article, somehow they already know. Some people consider the opposition is not very easy, or not a good aspect. So what? Yeah. So I don't want to go to that debate, but what does
So
that mean if we have an aspect, if we have set of opposition in the chart?
So imagine you are a planet.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So it's like we were saying with the conjunction. We said the two planets come together. They are together. So imagine you are
Mm-hmm.
the planet, and next to you there's another planet. So we're together with the conjunction.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In the opposition, it's the opposite. It's the opposite.
Yeah.
You are a planet, and right in front of you, you see the other
Mm-hmm.
planet. So
Mm-hmm.
this planet is coming from a completely different perspective, a
Mm-hmm.
perspective that almost seems to be against your perspective. It's like you're
Mm.
walking on a road and there's another one walking against you and you see
Mm.
it coming. Yes?
Yeah.
So there's this sense of contradiction. The person
Mm-hmm.
will feel like the two planets want to do things that are completely opposing to each other. So the person
Mm.
doesn't know how to do both things at the same
Mm-hmm.
time. We don't know how to do both things at the same time because they seem to be contradictory. So most of the time, we're going to split our consciousness and we're going to
Mm-hmm.
identify with one of the two planets.
Mm.
And the other planet, we say, is going to be projected outside. So we're going to
Mm.
meet it outside.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say, in this case, the Sun versus Neptune. So
Mm-hmm.
we are going to be the Sun, for instance. So we are
Mm-hmm.
going to be the Sun in Aquarius. We're going to be
Mm-hmm.
rational. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to be intellectual. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to develop new ideas. And
Mm-hmm.
outside, what do we meet? We meet Neptune. So we meet
Mm.
people who are very, who have strong emotions, who are
Mm-hmm.
very sensitive, who
Mm.
are not very rational. Probably they are very imaginative. They are very, they idealize a lot. And we're gonna say, how come I'm so rational? I'm so smart. I think so much. I'm so objective and kind of I don't get too much involved with emotions, but I keep meeting all of these people around me. They are so soft and they are kind of you're going to interpret that they are vulnerable and they are clingy
Yeah.
probably because it's your own emotions that you are rejecting. So you're gonna describe it in a bad way probably. Like I meet all these people who are like very clingy, very
Yeah.
emotional. They are
They're
always
so
talking
needy.
about
They
their
need my help.
feelings. Exactly, they are so needy. And well, if all of them are like that, maybe this is a pattern. And if this is a pattern, maybe this is expressing something of who you are. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
there's a possibility of trying to
Mm-hmm.
see if some kind if maybe Mozart needs to accept his own,
Mm-hmm.
no, I don't want to say needs to, but maybe he's invited to
Mm-hmm.
accept his own sense of vulnerability, his own
Mm-hmm.
sense of sensibility,
Mm-hmm.
sensitivity, I should say, sensitivity,
Mm-hmm.
and all of this.
Yeah. It is very interesting from I can see this from the psychological view, and that with that projection that easily to work this like most people will easily to aware about their opposition through the
Yes.
cooperation, working together, relationship, friendship with people around them because we are easy to project that. But in the end of the day, I usually talk this to my students. In the end of the day, it's your chart. You are the sun and you are the Neptune, and they both need to work together. They need to integrate
Yes.
together. But most easy way to make you aware is through other people. You can okay, some people are lucky. They can always throw this another part they don't recognize to someone else and never aware about it. That's fine. How
Yeah, but
lucky
I
they
wouldn't say
are.
that's lucky. I don't wouldn't say that's lucky.
I
I
know,
think
I know.
that
What I
brings a
say
lot
is
of
that they go,
problems in the long term.
yeah. But they can always throw it away. That's why I say they are lucky. They can throw it away and never take it back. But maybe that's not lucky. But is also with those conflicts or with that discussion, that's dialogue, or with that a cooperation, working together. You know who you really are a little bit more. With that integrate, and that I
Yes.
find that the magic of opposition is so beautiful.
Yes, exactly, because this is very important. I think what you're saying is very important. So we're not doomed
Mm-hmm.
for our awareness to be divided and to
Mm-hmm.
always project one side of the opposition.
Yeah.
It tends to be what we do at first.
Yeah.
Usually at first it's hard to play both parts, but I
Mm-hmm.
think like as we meet this planet over and over outside of ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes maybe with Neptune it doesn't happen that often, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we jump. Sometimes we are one
Mm-hmm.
planet and we see we project the other one, and sometimes
Mm-hmm.
we turn into the other planet and we project the planet that we were before. So I think with
Mm.
Neptune maybe it doesn't happen that often, But you can think, for instance, in Mozart and all of the drinking
Yes.
problems he had, like how was he not recognizing his needs for evasion? You know, he needs
Mm-hmm.
to go to another realm. He was not
Mm-hmm.
recognizing it, and this became a problem. But what I mean to say is that usually as we move through life, we become more and more aware of this
Mm-hmm.
pattern. And these people, you know, it's normal to project. It's like, it's not a bad thing. We
Mm-hmm.
project, and these projections will help us discover who we are. So
Mm-hmm.
usually with time, we get to integrate it more and more, like you're
Mm.
saying. It's not like we're going to be doomed to be divided.
Yeah.
Most
Yeah.
probably, psyche is trying to integrate all of the parts of the psyche. Yes.
Definitely. So we try to explain and use example of Mozart, the Sun and Neptune. Should we use another set of as a exercise for our audience? And I would suggest I would turn it into grid. So we
Okay,
can
nice.
see here the Neptune had a three set of opposition. Very interesting.
Nice. Okay. So let's try to think of Mercury opposing
Here we
Neptune.
are.
What happens when the mind, the logical train of
Yes.
thoughts, is opposing Neptune?
Mm, that would be
And then
very
what
interesting.
happens with Saturn opposing Neptune? Also
Mm.
very interesting.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Yes, when Saturn opposite Neptune, wow, that is like the double whammy of opposition. How why I say that? Because the character, or some people like you say, nature of Saturn and the Neptune are totally opposite each other. One is a
Totally.
very Saturn is a very realistic, practical, and Neptune is a pretty, idealism and the dreaming. So when two two planets have an opposite character, and they are in opposition, that is kind of, I say, double whammy. It is like emphasize this conflict, and that would be so interesting to learn how to interpret and think about how could they work together. Because you are astrologer, you are trying to offer the possibility rather than say you are doomed. If you want to say
Of
that,
course.
that is too easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So today we learned what does opposition mean, and we also learned the opposition sign, and also we learned how to the opposition has the meaning of conflict, have a limit, but they can also working together, and that usually in the psychological way, we it's very easy to aware them by project out because we didn't aware, but that's part of us, and then through the as Alejo say through the time we learn to integrate them together, right, Alejo?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. So, well, thank you for listening and watch the 10 minutes astrology. Today we talk about opposition. I think we have the next week we have something more interesting to talk, Alejo.
We're going to be talking about squares. Ah, no,
Squares. Okay.
trines. Sorry,
Try.
trines.
Well, okay. Next week we're going to talk about tries because that are very different flavor. So, well, and thank you for following us, and you can join us on the Facebook 10 Minutes Astrology group. And if you have any question or feedback, please leave here. If you want to contact Alejo, Alejo is on Instagram at
Liminal Cosmos on Instagram, and my email is meetme@Liminal Cosmos.
meet me at Liminal Cosmos, and you can find me on Instagram at LAUKROD, and also our YouTube channel is if you ever watch is LAUK1. Okay, so thanks for watching 10 Minutes Astrology. See you next week. Bye.
Bye bye.